Hello everyone and welcome to this Rangers Review interview special. I'm delighted to say we're joined by former Rangers defender Aidan Wilson. How are we doing, Aidan?
Thanks for having me on, Derek. Yep, I'm all good. Just training away as usual. Working hard. So, yeah, enjoying it. Get to be on the show though.
Yeah, fantastic. And I love the topic you've got on as well, Aidan. That's we're always big fans of that. We're in the Rangers attire when we're talking all things Rangers, and of course how you're getting on at Glentoran as well. How are you getting on over there just now? A lot of Rangers fans will be keen to see how you're doing over there, Aidan.
No, I'm doing well. Enjoying it a lot more. Like I came over and I signed for Crusaders when I came over, and they sort of had like a hybrid system.
Yeah.
It was sort of like a hybrid full-time system that they had. A lot of the lads were still part-time, so it was difficult to sort of adapt to, especially coming through Rangers, being proper full-time. So it was difficult to sort of adjust. But now I'm at Glentoran, it's proper full-time. Really good coaching, some great coaches there. The gaffer's brilliant as well. So enjoying it, and I think when you're enjoying your football, that's when you play your best football. No doubt about it. So yeah, everything's all good, and we've had a good start as well, which always makes things better.
Yeah, class. You played against the Rangers B team in the summer as well, didn't you? How was that going up against them?
Yeah, it was weird actually, because obviously I've not played against any Rangers side since I left the club. So it was good to see a lot of familiar faces. A lot of the coaching staff are still there. I knew quite a lot of the players, not all of them. A lot of them were young lads. But no, the game was good. I think we ended up winning 6-2 or something like that.
Yeah, 6-3.
6-3, sorry.
Yeah.
But look, the boys are talented, no doubt. A lot of our boys were probably shocked at how good they are and how well coached they were. So, no, it was good.
Yeah, class stuff. Well, we wish you all the best for the season ahead. We wanted to touch on your time at Rangers as well, Aidan. You spent so many years there at the club. You signed, were you 7 years old when you first joined?
Yeah, 7 years old. So I started. So this attire I've got on now so I do a bit of soccer schools over here in Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
And that's where I started in the soccer schools. Started at 7 at the soccer schools every Sunday. And then I quickly got drafted in with the under 11s at the time, which was a year older than me. Joined them in the pro youth setup, and then you can only officially sign when you're 10. So, I was there since I was 7, and left when I was 21. So 14-year stint.
Wow. Wow, it's quite something. I guess you grew up a Rangers fan. Were your family Rangers fans?
My dad's from Edinburgh, so he was a Hearts fan. But look, I quickly chose Rangers. See when you're there for so long, you end up falling in love with the club, no doubt. And yeah, there's only one team for me.
Yeah, fantastic. And I mean, coming through the academy and the different age groups and all that, Aidan, what was it like? Was it quite a demanding place to be in terms of getting the idea that the club needs to win it, even at all age groups, and the demands that are placed upon young boys?
Yeah, look, that was definitely. Look, I always look back on it, and there was sort of two stints where there was a Jim Sinclair era, which I sort of grew up between sort of my young days at 7 all the way up till maybe about 15, 16, and then Craig Mulholland took over. And see, for the first part under Jim Sinclair, everything was about winning. Everything. If you threw on that jersey, you were going out there to win, and that was it. And the coaches I had up through the years installed that in us, and I had some great coaches. Looking back now, Andy Kennedy, Jim McNee, Robin Gibson, all these coaches who I think are still there now, are absolutely vital to the club. They've been there for so many years. To still be there and giving their wisdom to the lads, you got to keep the guys at the club. And then towards my sort of second half, when I got a bit older, it was sort of more development, and it was it did change quite a lot, and it was more development. Like, obviously, you still wanted to win, of course you did. I mean, that never went out as you as a kid, but it sort of went more development where you sort of learn. If you lose, you learn sort of way, which is fine. The game obviously changed and stuff, but I don't think you ever lose that. See what you learn when you're as a kid.
Yeah.
I don't think you ever lose that. I think that just stays with you, and it even stays with me now. So look, so grateful for the coaches that I had as a kid. I think they mould you into the person and the player that you are now.
Yeah, but was there any boys that came all the way through with yourself, Aidan? I know it's pretty cutthroat, and boys get released every year and what have you. But was there anyone like yourself that had a similar sort of journey to yourself?
Yeah, I think Ross McCrory and Robbie were both there with me. They were a year older than me, but I played up a year until I got to about 15. So I was with them, and then my age group was Jamie Jonas came through. So I think Kieran Wright, the goalkeeper, who's still there now, he came through with me. I think if there's anyone else. I'm not sure. I maybe leave someone out, get a bit of stick. But yeah, those are the sort of names that spring to mind.
Yeah.
So I think that just shows you how. I mean, what have I named there for? 3 or 4.
Yeah.
That just shows you how cutthroat it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And the first time you were sort of drafted in and started training with the first team, can you remember that, Aidan? Was it? I speak to boys before, and they say that sometimes they feel quite lucky that the first team squad needs an extra body or whatever, and then they get their chance that way. Can you remember how you get drafted over?
Yeah, well, I think when I was sort of getting to that age, maybe 16, 17, it was Mark Warburton who was the manager.
Yeah.
And to be fair to Mark, he never really brought too many round.
Yeah.
Especially the sort of younger ones where I was 16, 17, and then Pedro got the job, and there was sort of more going round and filtering round. And I think it was just from maybe needing an extra body or two, I end up going round and training, and then I seem to do well enough to where Pedro started to want you to come back round, so selecting you to come round rather than just sort of the youth saying, here, there's a couple for you. I think it got to a stage where Pedro was actually asking for me, which is always great.
Yeah. How did you find Pedro? Of course, he would give you play under him. How did you find him as a coach at Rangers?
Yeah, I think it was, to be fair, it was probably different than, like, see that age, you don't really take too much to do with, like, you don't really have too much an opinion, or, you just go around and you give 100% and you try your best and you try and learn as much as you can when you're around there. So you don't, at that age, you don't really have, too much to say or, an opinion on things. But, I always loved, like, I look back now and I think, wow, like, what an experience to go around and learn for some of these guys.
Yeah.
And how, like, what an opportunity to go and try and get better. So the training, I love the training. Training's brilliant. You're playing with experienced boys like Bruno Alves, who was there. Europe. He's won the Euros with Portugal. Like, you could go through them all, and they've all done amazing things in their career. So for me at that age, it was just go around and give 100% and try and learn off these guys. Yeah,
and did you find you said you enjoyed the training? Was it a step up to what you're used to in the academy and what have you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Everything's just so much quicker.
Yeah.
In terms of everything, so like physically they were quicker, they were stronger. Mentally they did things quicker. Everything was 1-2 touch. It was the pace. That's the one thing you noticed was the pace of the game. Everything just went up a couple of gears.
Yeah. And you mentioned there Bruno Alves, like you say, the guy's done everything in the game. Would these guys sort of help you and give you little tidbits of advice and all that sort of stuff, Aidan?
Yeah, they would. They'd tap in here and there, but I think Clinton Hill was the one for me when he was there. Really helped me. Used to sit and, watch my clips of him and stuff like that, and he'd sort of just give me wee pointers here and there. I think he was probably the most influential with the centre halves at the time when I was there. So I actually speak to Clint here and there now as well. Whenever I need anything, I just drop my message, and he's always replied to me. And, he was great for me, back then.
Class, top man, yeah. He conducted himself with a lot of dignity, and he was a top Ranger. Your debut, Aidan. I know you lost to Aberdeen at Ibrox, but in terms of finding out when you were going to be playing, was it one of those? Was it a last minute thing, or were you able to tell your family and all that you were going to play that day?
No, it was a last minute thing. So Clint was going through. I think he had something on his calf, and he'd done a fitness test in the morning of the game. And I didn't know whether he passed it or failed it, or could,
Yeah.
So I didn't know until I actually drove in, and the manager announced the team, and I was playing. And yeah, I was as soon as I knew I was playing, I was just, buzzing.
Yeah.
I think maybe if I found out the night before or something like that, maybe, I wouldn't have got a good night's sleep or anything like that. So it probably worked out well the way it did.
Yeah. And can you remember much about the game and walking onto Ibrox and all that sort of stuff?
I can remember walking out and stuff in the change room and stuff, but then the game, it's like the battle that you don't really remember too much. But walking out to simply the best.
Yeah.
Arguably, the best. Well, definitely the best feeling in my life.
Yeah.
And then walking out onto the pitch, just remember doing a couple of wee sprints, and you just go, and that, you just the noise, the atmosphere, and I remember like one bit in the second half where like we were chasing the game at 2-1, and we actually maybe should have nicked a draw at the end, and just the roar of the fans, it was just amazing. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I can imagine. And some of the players you played alongside, you mentioned Clint Hill and Bruno Alves. Tav was playing that day. Of course, he's still there. It's quite amazing, really. How good was he, Aidan?
I think he was I think you look at Tav and he's so robust. I mean, the amount of games he's played, and consistent performer, and he's came from when the club was maybe struggling a wee bit, and just to see him grow, I think you can see now he's grown as a leader. He maybe wasn't like a leader that he is now back then, but you could certainly see his quality. And I mean, you think his delivery is top drawer, and that's something that probably stood out to me is all these players were good at everything, but they all had something that they were exceptional at. And I think that Tav's delivery was out of this world. His free kicks, his penalties, his corners. I think that was his one exceptional thing. And I think probably the higher you go, the boys just become exceptional at everything. So yeah, that's one thing that I noticed about Tav was his delivery, and you can see now he's grown to be a leader. So he's just growing and growing and growing, which is great to see.
Yeah, but after making your debut and all that, and appearing for the club, you'd have been itching to play more, of course. Were you a bit sad to see Pedro go when he did, having give you that chance?
Look, yeah, I think I definitely was, because he obviously trusted me. He told me that he trusted me to go and play. So the opportunities, probably would have come around again. And as you say, I was absolutely itching to play again. I think that's tough when you don't get that, because everything else then becomes not as good. It's difficult to then go back and play reserve games or games that don't necessarily mean as much. Because to me, playing for Rangers meant everything to me. And to go and then go back was difficult. But look, these sort of things happen, and at the end of the day, it's a result-driven business, and at Rangers that you have to win. and that's plain and simple. And if you're not doing that, then that's just the nature of football.
Yeah, of course. Graeme Murty had a wee interim spell, Aidan. How did you find him working alongside him?
Yeah, no, he's a very good coach, Graeme. Very good, and he done a lot for me in terms of when he was a reserve manager. With the boys, he was very good coach, and we learnt a lot off him. And when he got the job, I was probably a bit disappointed that I maybe never got a shot under him. But again, like, that's just football. He becomes the manager, he makes the decisions, and that's why I end up going out on loan to get football, because I was at that age where you have to play football. You can't just sit and play reserves. And I felt like, the chats I had and stuff, that maybe that opportunity with the Rangers first team wasn't going to happen, and I'd maybe have to wait. And at that time, I just didn't want to wait. I just want to play football. So that's just the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah. See your loan spells. Do you think that helped you in your career when you went out? There's a number of young boys at Rangers that maybe in that bridge between the B team playing in the Lowland League and trying to break into the first team. What did it do for your career, Aidan? Was it beneficial for yours?
I think at the time I didn't really enjoy it, to be totally honest with you.
Wow, yeah.
Like, I look at the loans I had, and I don't think I didn't enjoy the football. Like, it wasn't a lot. You didn't really get to play much football, and it was very direct. Worse pitches, etc. So I don't think I actually enjoyed it that much. But on the other hand, I think I learned so much about myself and so much about football away for Rangers, that's probably led me in good stead now. From life away for Rangers, and once you sort of go away, you realise how good it is and how lucky you are to be there. So I'd say that maybe I didn't enjoy it as much, but undoubtedly I learned loads about myself and loads about football, and I think looking back now, it was a good thing for me.
Yeah, magic. I wanted to ask you about the Florida Cup. Everyone remembers the image of SpongeBob SquarePants and all that, and the team photo. But what was that like? As a little competition to play in?
Yeah, it was good. I think I played against Corinthians, and it was a good game. It was, again, it was something different. It was something that, playing against a team like that, first team, Corinthians obviously a big side. It was good, and again, like, anytime you put on that jersey for Rangers, it was give 100% and give your best and see what it takes you, and grateful every time you put that shirt on, and it was amazing.
Yeah. See, when Gerrard was appointed, Aidan, what did you think about it? We had Dapo Mabudi on it a few weeks ago, and he said that as a fan, he was an idol, but he couldn't believe he was actually coming to Rangers as his manager. What was your sort of reaction when it happened?
Yeah, look, such a big name, amazing footballer. When you did see him and he entered the room or something like that, there was that aura about him and that respect straight away for what he's done in the game. And I think he raised the level big time at Rangers, where everything got better. Like anything you can think of, facilities, players, staff, physios, everything got better. And him coming from Liverpool, you can see that he knew the standard, and the club at that time had a wee bit to go to get to the standard, and he brought it up. Yeah,
and I mean, you played that friendly match against Bury. You played a wee part in that game. Sort of as a coach, did they give you any encouragement that you could break in, or was it sort of clear to you that it was going to be tough to get a start in that first team?
I think, like, I didn't really need sort of any, sort of words from him. I think he looked at you looked at the centre halves that he was bringing in at the time. The money he was spending on the centre halves at the time. Golson, Hollander, Edmondson. I'm trying to think who else was it. Do you know what I mean? So I looked at the money that he was spending on the centre halves, and I thought, it's going to be tough. And then unfortunately, I had an issue with my knee as well, which put me back quite a bit. So it was always going to be an uphill battle for there.
Yeah, how frustrating was that injury that you had, and sort of trying to get back up to speed after that?
Yeah, it was difficult. Look, when Gerrard first came in, I started feeling, we were doing a lot of hard runs and stuff in pre-season. I just felt something wasn't right with my knee when he first came in, and I tried to play through it and stuff like that, and I just didn't feel physically right. And to be fair, when I spoke to Gerrard before I left, he was brilliant. And Mick Beale as well, spoke to him a lot, and they just, it was that sort of thing. They could see I wasn't right, and the club looked after me brilliant. It took quite a while to figure out, what was best for me, in terms of operation wise and stuff like that. It took a wee bit longer than I would have liked, but eventually I get the best treatment, the best surgery, and the club looked after me brilliant. And that again, injuries are part of football, and just timing of things just sort of didn't work in my favour. But you always grow as that sort of, when things maybe don't happen for you, you always grow and you always learn from it. So I think now I'm strong mentally as well, because that was definitely a tough period for me mentally.
Yeah, but when you left, when you left the club and obviously moved over to Crusaders, was there was there a feeling, a disappointment that your time at Rangers was over? Because I mean, like you spent so long there, such a long time at the club, coming through the ranks and then moving away. It must have been quite a big deal for you.
Yeah, look, Rangers was home for me for so long. I felt comfortable there, like I knew everyone. And the time that I left was a difficult time, is because it was in the middle of the pandemic. I left in June, and it was in the middle of the pandemic, so no one knew, what was going on. And then especially for teams to know their budgets and stuff for staying back home, it just wasn't. Nothing was concrete, or teams were saying, look, come in and train, we'll have a look at you, we'll maybe offer you something. And I just thought, look, I don't want that. And Crusaders rang me, and I went over, and they looked after me and stuff, and I felt that the Irish League was a good avenue for me. And there's the league was getting better. There was more money getting invested in the league, and it looked like it was going places. And I think you see where the league is at now. There's a lot of players coming over for Scotland now, and there's a lot of players come back for England, playing for the Irish League team. So I felt that it was going to be good for me, especially just coming away for Scotland. I looked at the loans that I had, and I didn't really enjoy them, as I said before, and I thought, what, this might be wee change for me. This could well work, and so far it's been really good.
Yeah, spot on, excellent. And you said you've got your soccer skills over there as well that you do a bit of.
Yeah, so obviously I know Phil Cowan really well for Rangers when I was playing. And Phil used to come over with the Northern Irish lads, and used to come on trial, good few of them would sign, what have you. And when I came over here, I rang Phil and I said, look, I want to get involved in the soccer schools. I want to give a wee bit back. I think what I learned off the coaches when I was, I take the under 8s now, which is about 13. I look at what I learned when I was 13, and I think now, although I'm only 23, I think I'm well. I know the game. That I've still got loads to learn, but I know a good part of the game. I'm quite an experienced 23-year-old, to be fair. And it was an opportunity for me to give something back, and I wanted to do it. And look, I love it. It keeps me thinking as well. I think, for me, down the line, coaching is definitely something that's in my head.
Yeah.
And to do it with the kids there and put on sessions for them and see how sessions work and see what they like and don't like. And then, as a player and as sort of a coach as well, you can learn from that and see, and just get better and see from a coaching and player's point of view, what they like, what they don't like, what they react to, and it's a really good opportunity for me.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, we wish you all the best with it. Hopefully it goes well for you. And in terms of Rangers as well, just now, of course, going through a wee bit of a sticky patch form-wise, but I guess you keep a close eye on them, Aidan. How do you feel they're getting on?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Watch as many games as I can. Obviously, if I'm playing at Saturday 3 o'clock and so Rangers, obviously I can't watch.
Yeah.
But I try and watch all the games that I can. And look, I think you look at the league table, they're only 2 points behind Celtic now with the result of the weekend, and you just got to keep pushing. And teams, that's just the way football goes. Sometimes you go through sticky patches, but you got to try and go through the gears and hope that you're going to get to the top of your performance, and then that's the time to really push. So yeah, the wee sticky patch just now, but the good thing is the win at the weekend, and Celtic dropping points as you're only 2 points back.
Yeah.
Now's the time to kick on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I guess it'll be difficult getting over it to Ibrox, given that you're playing over there in Northern Ireland. But have you been back since leaving at all to take in any games?
I've actually not. No, I've not been able to get back. Just with we're pretty hectic over here with games as well. We actually play Saturday, Tuesday, most weeks, and then there's some Friday, Tuesday, Fridays, Tuesdays. So
wow.
yeah, it's hectic just now. But no, I'd love to come back for one of the Champions League games if I can.
Yeah.
I've been itching to get back, so hopefully I'll be able to get back for one of them.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Well, that's been brilliant to talk to you, Aidan. Thank you very much for having a wee chat with us. I really appreciate it, and all the best for the rest of the season.
Cheers, Derek. Thanks for